Hey everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you all so much for joining me today. It is my Tuesday video, which is kind of my random video of whatever I've been doing for the week. And sometimes that's textile and embroidery related. Sometimes it's baking. Sometimes it's a history video. And today I'm taking you on a tour of the Threads exhibit at my university gallery. I mentioned a couple times in the past few weeks that several of my pieces are on display at our university art gallery. And yesterday I took some time, not very much time unfortunately, but I took a little bit of time out of my workday to head over there and see what was on display. But first I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I really appreciate you being a part of my community. And those of you who keep coming back, I love interacting with you in the comments. I get messages from you all. It's just so wonderful. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me in this kind of crazy world that we're living in. And if you're watching and not subscribed, this is a channel about embroidery and baking and other textile arts and history and the history of embroidery and baking and other textile arts. So if you're interested in that kind of a thing and you want to hang out with me, please subscribe. That'd be awesome. And with that, I'm gonna kick it on over to past Christy, who is hanging out at the galleries yesterday. Hey everybody, I'm here at the art gallery on my campus for the Threads fiber art exhibit, where I mentioned I included some of my own pieces, so I'll get to those. They're actually right across there, which is kind of cool. So I'm just gonna flip the camera around and take a look and sort of show you what's here. There's quilting and embroidery and cross stitch, needle felting, weaving, all sorts of different things. And I'll talk about the artists that I know, and if I can find the websites or social media of the artists, I'll put them in the drop box below. So I'm going to flip you around and just kind of take a tour. They're all up and down the hallway, so we'll take a look at that. Right away we have this beautiful basket from South Africa. Karen Arzamendi has Ugandan bark cloth, and it looks like it's different pieces all put together. And here's the second one. These are really beautiful. Let me just get a little closer to this one. It's amazing what textile means. There's so many different meanings to textile, right? Here we have an embroidery that looks like wool that is from around the 1960s, and it's very folk art, and I really kind of love it. It's a bit, I don't know, it's kind of inspirational, but this says it's from Chile, so that's pretty amazing. Also from, well, not South America, Central America, but these pieces are called molas, and they are embroidered on women's clothing in the San Blas Islands off the coast of Panama, according to the marker here. So here's the second pair, and according to the paper they come in pairs, and one is for the front of the clothing and one is for the back of the clothing. And then in between these two, Elaine Goodman is a local artist who is known for using reclaimed objects in her art, and what she's kind of most famous for, she's called like the Queen of Dots or something. If I can find more of her pieces, I'll insert them right here. But basically, she often will take junk objects or things that would be thrown away and paints them up in riotous colors. She is a very colorful person. So this is one of her pieces here. And if you look close up, you can see it's covered in just buttons and tassels and ribbons and threads, and yeah, it's really kind of fabulous. And here is another piece by Karen Arzamendi. It's a prayer shawl that she made in 2007, and it is inspired by Japanese shifu, which is a woven paper cloth. And so this shawl has prayers sewn into it. Here we have another Karen Arzamendi piece called Growing Pains, and it's quilting. But if you look up close to it, the pieces have things sewn into it, including like thorns That's really cool. And here we have some cross stitch and black work. This is by Aislinn Nolte. Look at that, isn't that perfect? You can't see, but that one has gold threads all sewn through it. A beautiful basket by Marianne Jefferson. More Karen Arzamendi pieces. And these are pieced quilts. Look at that beautiful color and the tiny details of this one. Another basket made out of palm. And then it's my pieces. So here are my pieces. You've seen these. I showed these in one of my first videos. And these are the 4 landscapes that I still have access to. And I definitely, maybe this winter, I'll start more of these kinds of pieces because, I don't know, they just really make me happy. And I feel like I have more landscapes in me. So I need to start working on more of these. And here's another piece from off the coast of Panama. And it is a reverse applique, and it was lent by Karen Arzamendi. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those colors. Really wonderful. And so that's the one hallway, and then we're gonna go down this hallway. The next group is by our weavings done by Beverly Joyce, who's the art historian here at our university. And she is also the gallery director, so she's the one who organized this show. Beverly Joyce went to the Memphis College of Art, and apparently they have a tree out front that is from a cutting from the George Washington tree in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And so these are twigs from that tree woven into this piece. Wet felted book forms. Aren't they fun? Oh, I kind of like the mottled green on those. Another piece with the twigs from the tree. Fun with ikat. Eva's Chaos. And those are all by Beverly Joyce. This is called a flower cloth. There's some really cool baskets, coiled baskets, and they have stones in them. And this one over here looks like it has an arrowhead in the top of it. And these are by Melody Vidas or Vidas. I'll take a picture and insert that too. Needle felted animals, and Pauline Kraus is also a local artist, and so there are a lot of her needle felted animals in our local downtown gallery, which is very cool, and you can buy her stuff as well. Shirley Boudreaux is a visual arts teacher at a local high school here, and she made these amazing flowers. And so that's it for my gallery tour. That was the whole back and forth down the hallway. I'll leave you hanging out by my pieces that I'm really excited to have on display for people to see. And I hope you enjoyed this walk through our gallery, and I'll take it back to my corner. Bye. So I hope you all enjoyed that tour of the Threads art exhibit. The pieces I think are really amazing, and I'm just so pleased to be a part of that display. And Beverly Joyce, who did the weavings, who is the gallery director, had a press release about this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. And basically she said that textile art is a kind of art that's not displayed as much. It's not seen as art, it's seen as craft. But if you look at those pieces, like, that takes skill and creativity, and to me that's art. It has meaning, it evokes emotion, and I think that it's just kind of an amazing craft. And what we find, throughout history. Sorry to be history here. But what we find is that the work that women do is often seen as craft, and the work that men do is seen as art, right? And so if women dominate a field, or if it's done domestically, it's not viewed as art in the same way that things done outside. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But essentially, because textile art is essentially a women's craft, and there are men who do it and they do it really, really well. But in general and historically, textiles were a woman's domain. And because of this, they weren't seen as skilled or artistic in the same way that drawing and painting and mosaics and later on photography, ceramics, that kind of thing were. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the little tour of the art gallery. And I have to say that I'm really pleased to be a part of it. And I don't think that my stuff looked out of place. And that makes me feel really good, because there's nothing worse than having your artwork and the work that you do in a space with other artists who make phenomenal work and yours looks amateur. And I'm not necessarily a humble person, but I don't think that my stuff looked amateur, and I don't think it looked out of place. So I'm really inspired to make more landscapes, just because I had forgotten kind of how much I love them. I actually haven't had them in front of me for a while, so I haven't had a chance to look at them. But I definitely want to start making more landscapes, and probably over winter break, because that I'll have a lot of time over winter break with the way things are panning out with the pandemic. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the galleries. If you have any questions for me, or any ideas of videos you want to see in the future, please leave them in the comments below. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video and want to hang out with me some more and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And with all that being said, please take care of yourselves, and I hope you all have a good one.